Hello there. Good morning. Sitting heavy with some experiences over the last couple days, trying to see what's in it for me. But I'm seeing, I work with a lot of different people, and it's not always traditional client relationship. It's sometimes in relationship, in connecting with other people, in connections on Facebook, in meeting at drum circles and other spiritual events. I connect and I openly be of service, give of myself, whatever you want to call it, in interacting with them in deep, beautiful conversations. And recently, someone came back in my life that I used to have deep conversations with, and then they popped up again recently. And we went really deep, and the connection was there, and a lot of great discussions were had that challenged me, that challenged her. It was a woman. And, but it's the strangest thing. And this is a pattern for me, and I'm going to expose it to the light here so that I can hopefully get to the bottom of it and be clear. But we had a really deep conversation yesterday, and she asked something very vulnerable of me. And I dove in, all in, because I'm all in on everything. I offered to give her exactly what she asked for from me, and that excited me. That excited her. We had a long conversation about it, and but it was edgy, and it was new, and it was challenging, and it was within both of our programs of pain, discomfort, of shame, guilt, etc. And I was all excited about it. I prepared a treatment plan and a proposal and an invitation to go in and do the work and put a formal container around it so that it would be successful, because that's what I do. And this morning, out of the blue, she told me she was going with somebody else to do this because her guidance said that was what she needed, and other things, which is a fucking excuse as far as I'm concerned. Saying your guides told you something. I will tell you, your guides sometimes is your little girl inside or your little boy inside, or sometimes that part of you that's scared will give you guidance to keep you away from doing things that maybe are for your highest good. But when people make a conscious ask, when they're really deeply grounded, and then you meet them at that, a lot of people will run away. I've been seeing a pattern, and they don't expect to be met. They expect to be disappointed. They expect to see more of the same from their past show up. And when all of a sudden the universe gives them something new that's edgy and exciting, they will run. I've done it, and I can understand it. And I understand it in this person, but how do you hold space for that when a person consciously asks for something, and then you say yes, and then the next day they've invented a million different excuses for why they don't want to be committed to that. And that's the human condition. That's the mess that we're programmed into. And I honor that, but it hurts as well, because any real deep interaction that's not client and for pay based is a balance. And we agreed to a balance, and there was something in it for me, there was something in it for her, and there would be an exchange in doing that work together. And now I'm just kind of like smashed, because it's like I was really looking forward to all the things that we talked about and got so excited about, and a shitload of energy was created in talking about it, and giddiness and happiness, of excitement, of leaning into edges and exploring new, and then it's all gone the next day. I've had this happen before. And every effort was to make it not my fault and blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. But that person ran away for reasons I cannot discuss because they're all deep inside, and it's the voice. And I find it in my work with women, and I work with a lot of different women, is there's a little girl voice inside that's very angry. It's been hurt by a lot of men, and it will use every opportunity to project, to twist, to cause it to be somebody else's fault that they feel uncomfortable. And how do I hold space for that? I didn't get mad, I didn't get angry, but I started to ask some questions about integrity and accountability. It's like, you asked for this thing and I met you in it, and now all of a sudden you don't want to be part of it, which is absolutely okay, but do it in an indirect way and say I'm doing it with somebody else instead of you or whatever is running away. And I see it now as a test as well. The work that was going to be done was transformative, was deep, was way outside of both comfort zones, which is always an opportunity for massive change. And that can be scary as hell. And it was scary as hell for me to even offer to meet this person at that level. But now it's turned into my wound again, because this situation basically tells me I'm too much, or I'm not worthy, or my work is too intense, or whatever. And I don't know what their story is. All I know is the truth isn't being shared. And this exploration of wounds inside of both of us, maybe this is the gift that I'll get out of it, is just have to face this and to talk about it and be conscious about it. Or maybe it'll be another thing that smashes me and keeps my vibration low. I'm doing everything in my power to stay positive, because I was so excited about offering this new depth, this new level, this new modality that I've always dreamed of and thought was possible, and needed somebody that was really conscious to be able to accept what I could offer. So it's kind of really hard to receive something where the person wasn't accountable. Shit, yeah, change your mind. Tell me, okay, I'm not feeling comfortable with this, and we can talk about it. And yeah, maybe the end result will be we don't do it, which is absolutely okay. And no is okay. But when it's indirect like this, it's like a slap in the face. And I've been slapped in the face many times, because what I offer is powerful and way outside the box for a lot of people. And it's scary. It's uncomfortable. It's not normal, not typical, not in the mainstream. But the shitty part was they asked for it, and they were all in, and they were saying this is what they want, and they would love it, go to this level, and I match them at every level. And then the next day it's not okay. But it's not me. It's whatever. I have some guidance that says I should take this path or whatever. Well, what part is guiding you? Which part is making you run away? Which thing, when you really get what you finally ask for, it's scary as hell. It's like, holy shit, I asked for this and the universe finally brought it for me. And no, instead it's like bypass and run away and whatever. Are you going to lean in? I leaned in. This was exactly what I was asking for. And I leaned in and I got smashed the next day. I was so excited. I was vibrating so high yesterday and excited, and I was in tears this morning. In tears, in anger, in expression, and I don't deserve this. There's a part of me that said I deserve this because it's happened before, and I don't deserve it. So now I'm shining light into the situation, shining light into the person, shining light into the collective, and saying, this is not the path forward for any of us, is to be conscious, and then when you get afraid, then you be unconscious? No, it's the request to go even deeper, to shine light into ourselves and say, fuck, this hurts and I'm not feeling comfortable or whatever, and then talk about it. And I would talk about it all day long, and if the answer was no, this isn't going to work out, I would be 100% okay with that. But when it's done in indirectness, it's like, I've chosen another direction and blah, blah, blah. What am I supposed to do with that? I did something wrong. Oh, she's not talking about it. If you can't trust somebody to be fully conscious of what they're feeling, and even if that's a shitty feeling or makes them change their mind or whatever, I can't trust you as a person or as somebody that I'm having a relationship with unless you tell me. And I'll have to accept whatever comes out. Oh, I can't do this. I'm not ready. I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to do it right now. Perfect. Awesome. That's a different thing. I want to put it on pause, or I don't ever want to look at it again, or whatever. At least then I've got an answer and I know why, and it's done. But when it's done indirectly, this is the human condition we suffer in. Nobody communicates clearly. Nobody will say the truth. So you're forced to read between the lines, and then it's something about you, and it's your story, and all this kind of stuff. I know what I offered was integrity, and it was something that I'd never offered before, and I know the universe wants it because there is so much energy and so much love and so much respect in the offer and the acceptance at the time. But send a person away and then let their ego work on them, let their inner child kind of work on them, let their story play on them or whatever, and they will talk themselves out of it every time, using any excuse possible that looks like integrity to them or whatever. Well, integrity is not unless you can face the person and say, hey, I've changed my mind for this reason or whatever. And the key is in the reasoning or the excuse that's given. If it's real and it's really conscious exploration or whatever, that's one thing. But to just pass it away and say, oh, I made a decision to go another way or whatever, when so much was shared, so much depth was shared, so much connection was shared, it's just like taking an axe to that connection, that love that you gave to a person, and all of a sudden you're just feeling hacked and slashed because they took what they needed and that was too much, and they hacked you off so that you couldn't complete the contract that you just formed with them. So do you run away? Why do you run away? What's going on inside? Yeah, you're not confident, you're uncomfortable, you're whatever. You're finally getting what you asked for. And you're like, oh, I'm not worthy of it. That's a possibility. I'm feeling that exact same thing. I'm not worthy of this thing that I created with this other person because now they're creating excuses and not okay with it, and I have no idea what it is, so it hurts really bad, and I feel a wound propagated of there's something wrong with me, or I'm too much, or I offered too much, or I was too direct, or I was too blah. I'm not going to do that to myself anymore. And I could be broke up and hurt or whatever. All I can do is disconnect the energies and step away, and they have to make their own decision. And I have to be okay with whatever that decision is. But I know, and the whole time that this was happening, all I kept hearing was this or something better. Because I can never choose how a person's going to choose based on their trauma, their past stories, their past stuff. So I leaned in. I went all in. I made an offer. I lovingly prepared. Took me an hour and a half or more and adjusted and built this treatment plan and this this loving expression of meeting her in her ask, but she'd already made the decision even before she received it. So I felt really, really uncomfortable. And that's mine. But the fact that that person made a choice to draw me in to get to that point where then she made a choice that it wasn't okay without any integrity to speak openly about what was there. There's no consciousness in that. That's a runaway. And when we get scared and we get uncomfortable and when we start to do the awakening and we offer it and climb in to the driver's seat of that, all of a sudden you're at the controls of a situation that could awaken you, could transform you, could shake you up, could make you feel really uncomfortable. That I'm the person that will hold space for that person no matter how they feel uncomfortable before, during, and after. And that makes me different from most people. And it makes it all the more real when people start considering whether or not they want to go into that very experience that they asked for. But I'll tell you, every time I've won, I've went all in. Even right now, this is all in for me because it's like, fuck, I'm not going to have this experience again of people running away from me offering exactly what they asked for. I guess they ask it in the hope that somebody's going to run away and then they can excuse themselves and blame the other person. But ultimately, I'm so lovingly grateful for who I am, for what I offered, for what I'm capable of offering, of the fact that this creates a reaction in people. Some people would say dumb it down, soften it, whatever. But when that person's finally ready to make good on their ask, they will be rewarded. But if they play too many games and they play arm's length and play whatever that is that's going on inside or whatever, we're going to have to rebuild trust. We're going to have to go back in and clean up all the broken, axed off, like I said, connections and trusts and consciousness. It took a week and several really deep, long conversations to rebuild enough trust to be able to make that offer. And there's very few people in this world that I've met that can meet and make offers and plan them at this level. So I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of her for getting to that level and making that offer. And I understand that something's going on and she's uncomfortable and that's not fun and whatever, but I can't hold that hand if it's not being extended while that person self-explores. All I can do is reflect what I'm seeing and the discomfort that it's making and the projection that it's giving and other things, because I offered it in love and with an open hand. And how she changed or shifted or whatever, or how she wants to test me or whatever to see how I react or whatever. I wasn't in anger, but I had to step back. I had to step away. I had to honor myself and I had to reflect what I saw in directness. Not angry, like, fuck you or whatever. Just, no, you asked for this and I gave it to you and now you're stepping back and you're calling it behind guidance. And I called out that guidance because I don't think it's even really guidance. I think it's the inner child trying to excuse itself because it's going to lose control when this very thing that the adult part asked for changes everything. It will heal the inner child. It will move through all the energies and all the old programs and release that person from the ego. And it's sure as hell releasing me from my ego and my wounded little child and all this kind of stuff, because I'm sitting here in conscious awareness of feeling all these hurts and all these wounds and all these triggers and stuff from my past. And I'm saying, no more. No, I'm not going to cry about this anymore. I'm not going to feel bad because this thing happened. There's something in it for everyone. Maybe this is all it is. Maybe it's actually going and doing the experience and in love at the end of all this. But I don't know. All I can do is speak to how I feel openly. And unfortunately, I'm sharing it in the open right now because there's no channel to safely communicate with this other person. And I'm not doing this indirectly to communicate with them. I'm just speaking about what I'm feeling and the discomfort that's there. Because this is a collective pattern. This is much bigger than just me and this other person. This is truth. This is light being shone on old programs that just keep hurting and harming. And I'm saying no more. So be it, and so it is. We end this program, this pattern, this thing between men and women, that this happens once and for all. And I send it to the light, and I send the divine feminine to the light, and I send the divine masculine to the light, and I send her to the light, and I send me to the light, and I send all the lineage entities that are still present in all of us to the light to be transmuted and transformed so that this can be done once and forever. Complete, end, cancel the old programs, dissolve the software, bring it to the light. We're done. So be it, and so it is. I love you. Sorry this was long, but had a lot to get off my chest. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye. I hope you're doing your own work. I hope this pattern isn't present in your life, but if it is, hopefully it's cleared for all of us. Thank you. This was hard.